To move on, please help me welcome to the stage Tango Matoti, the head of Workspace Optimization at Tetris, to take us through the Tetris sustainability tool, mapping of green rating. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Tat. Applause, please.
Do I just start? Oh, okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I know it's a bit late, but I do appreciate the audience. My name is Tango, and as mentioned, I am from Tetris. So in July last year, we launched our sustainability code, and it was an exciting moment for us as Tetris because sustainability is at the heart of what we do. And our people are becoming much more engaged in our efforts of delivering outstanding design and build projects. And what I'll be taking you through today is a quick overview of why did we come up with a sustainability code? Who has taken note of any of our efforts as Tetris in terms of sustainability, and what are we actually seeing from those outcomes? And so when we look at post-pandemic, there is an emergence of a workforce that is very conscious. They are actually wanting to and almost requiring that the offices that they are in are health conscious and cater to their well-being. And added to that, with the concerns on climate change, they are starting to influence what employees need to do within their workspaces. And then on the other hand, you have organizations that have ESG targets, and they also need advice on how to actually achieve those targets. So with that two sides of the coin, our team of designers then set out and created an app that would have accessible guides to support anybody who wanted to build a project. And what we are seeing is that it's a tool. It's a simple tool. It's an app. And what it does is it measures your initial targets or your initial goals that you set out before you start the project, and it tracks it through the life cycle of the project, which is great because the data that comes out of it is data that you can actually use for your own reporting when it comes to ESG. And how we measure that is there are 12 criteria split across both the design sectors and the build portion of the project, and we measure things from FF&E in terms of the furniture that you're sourcing. Where is it coming from? Can it be recycled? Is it sourced responsibly? And when it comes to comfort, we're looking at acoustic comfort levels within the office space, thermal comfort, and not just environmental comfort. And you also then bring it to the build side to close the loop. Your supply chain, where are they also sourcing stuff? What happens to it at the end of their cycle? And what's important for us is that innovation be the overarching theme for everything when it comes to all of these things, as much as they are softer things that run through, like health and safety, diversity and inclusion. But if we can be innovative in all of our initiatives, that helps us with greater achievement. So it is a simple user interface. Anybody on the project can use it, and it's based on a point system. There's criteria and descriptions to help you to determine where to gauge that point, and then it gives you data at the end that you can then give over to your clients to justify where the scoring and the rating comes. And it's good for them to see where the gap is in where they initially wanted to be and where they can end up. And so for anybody with questions today, yes, it is actually aligned with all the best practice green certification companies globally, because we embedded the methodology and the scoring of it on all of these to make sure that anybody who wanted a certification will be able to actually get one, which is great because this encompasses the Tetris and JLL commitment to global ESG, and it's applied in projects irrespective of the size or the budget that people may have. And so who has actually taken note? And I think this is a proud moment for us because as Tetris, EcoVadis has awarded us with a platinum award, which puts us in the top 1% of the companies that were actually rated last year. And it is our hope that we would also be able to celebrate our clients being able to achieve these ratings through the app. And so what have we seen over the past year? And it is quite an early stage in its infancy, but I think it's good to see the data and to see that it's moving in the right direction. And so we looked at the 30 projects that have been completed over the past year. And as you can see at a quick snapshot, a lot of them are spread across Europe, but there's some in Africa and South America. And also, interestingly, it's across all sectors. There's no specific sector. It's from hospitality to healthcare, finance, and whichever one that your business would be part of, which is great because it means it can cater for everybody. And just interesting fun facts and highlights that 185,000 square meters of sustainable space was created by us last year. And so when we look at the key highlights that we can take out of these 30 projects, 100 of them reused furniture, which is a great initiative because a lot of this furniture ends up in landfill. And it might not have been reusing it exactly, but finding ways to repurpose it, to upgrade it, look at its modularity, future-proofing it. And also 63% of the projects included areas for support, so environmental comfort of your people, for diversity and inclusion and well-being and the softer side of making people comfortable within the office. When it comes to air quality control, 50% of them installed air quality sensors. Some of them even went as far as showcasing the levels of air quality within the office space. And 80% of them, when it comes to water consumption, used sanitary fittings with water labels and with water meters to measure all of that consumption, which is great because we are moving in the right direction, as you can see. And not only did we leverage the layouts and the materials within these various projects and spaces, but we found that just through the use of furniture and being clever, you could actually reduce the levels of acoustic discomfort without necessarily acquiring the expertise of an acoustic engineer that might be deemed expensive. So there are ways that you can make small impacts that over time actually end up being quite a big impact. And one of my favorites, I know biophilia is a big thing, and people think bringing nature into the office is just throwing a couple of plants, but 96% of all of these projects went beyond just plants, but realizing that the connection to nature is about views outside, it's about the shapes and the forms within the office, and mimicking certain things in nature to bring them in to highlight that connection with people. And so I want to bring it back home because it's great to talk high level, but what's been done locally? So Furmanik is one of our clients, and they wanted to repurpose their existing office space, and they gave us 3 criteria of acting on climate change, embracing nature, and caring for people, and how would we bring that out in our design. And it was a great end-to-end solution in terms of looking at the whole campus, inside and outside, and we landed up with a building that now draws energy from the sun, and this has resulted in 75% reduction in actually energy, and they actually don't need to depend on the grid so much. They store and they process their own rainwater, and this has shown a 60% saving in water consumption. And being a fragrances and perfumery company, it's been very important for them to maintain air quality and ensure that there's consistent airflow, because you can imagine cross-contamination of smells would be a disaster for that business. And they were able to achieve great levels through that. And one of my favorite initiatives is bringing in natural pest control elements. So within the campus, bringing in owl houses and bat houses, just to be able to mitigate some of those areas that could be a concern. And when we look at their scorecard, they were able to achieve a staggering score of 97%. They initially scored themselves at an 8 in terms of where they were with sustainability. Their target was 67, and they ended up with a score of 79, which is great because it's almost 10 times higher than what they thought they could achieve. And because of this, this project is due to receive a 6-star Green Star rating from the Green Building Council, which is amazing because it makes them one of the few commercial buildings in South Africa to be able to achieve that 6-star rating. And another one that is close to my heart and thinks a little bit outside the box when it comes to sustainability is the Women's Development Bank. We are coming out of Women's Month. We are in the middle of Heritage Month, and Women's Development Bank is a proudly South African founded bank by iconic women who dedicated their lives to actually uplifting women across the continent and in South Africa. So this was a women-led project, and the circularity of all the sourcing within this project was local through local female entrepreneurs to ensure that any creation of artwork, lighting, materials, wallpapers was sourced through them. So for me, it's an interesting take on how you can plow back into the economy and still be sustainable. And so are there actually any benefits to the code? And I think we strongly believe as Tetris that it enables a very clear understanding of the design challenges that still need to be addressed in sustainability. And it measures improvement, and it actually allows us to quantify the different interventions we can actually put within the office environment. Doesn't matter the size of the project, doesn't matter the capital in it. There's low impact things you can do and also larger impact, but as long as we're moving in the right direction, we can assist our clients and they can keep coming back and monitoring that. And it aspires a mindset of innovation. I think, as I mentioned earlier, innovation is at the forefront of everything we do, and if we can keep thinking forward and appreciate that it's an evolving thing, that we're going to have to keep coming and doing different interventions, but we are going to change that mindset so that people are being a bit more innovative, and we are putting ideas into action. We have been talking sustainability for years, but we are now finally actually putting things into action, doing things, and it's become top of mind for everybody. And so in closing, I want to say that as we move into 2023, we at Tetris are looking forward to a lot of collaborations that will come up in the future as we cannot achieve sustainability in isolation. And seeing the outcomes of the app just 1 year on. I mean, modestly, it's probably not large data, but for us, it means that sustainability and the code itself is where we think Proptech actually does overlap with ESG goals. And this is how we can leverage technology to be able to help with the real estate journey, because we're all trying to get to net zero. And so with that, I would like to invite anybody with any questions to join us at the Tetris Lounge, the infamous Tetris Lounge, as I now know it, for any questions or anything you might have in terms of wanting to discuss the sustainability code with us. And I do thank everybody for their time.